Hi, my name is Alex and I own Enigma Canine. Now today I want to introduce you to our brand new scent work training equipment that we have developed. It is a system, it has lots of different parts to it that we can use together or individually, and it's the only system that you will need for your foundation scent work training. There are so many different ways that we can use this equipment, and it is so portable as well. There's nothing else that you're going to need for your training. So I'm going to introduce you to each part of the system, and then I'm going to show you what each part does. So it's called the JOHNPOD, and as you can guess, it comes in pods. So we're going to go through each pod first of all, and then the connecting parts that go to it. So this is our main pod, and this is should we call it the JOHNPOD? This is our the first pod that we've got. It's made out of, all of the pods are made out of plastic, really durable plastic. So even if you've got a chewer, either your dog's a chewer or a dog in your class is a chewer, these are pretty indestructible. So they're not going to get chewed by the dogs. They can be knocked around and they're not going to break. You can throw them and they're not going to break. They are really, really tough. They're not going to rot and they're not going to rust, so you can use them outside or inside. So they're really, really robust and they're going to last a long time as well. Now, this pod has a little hole in the back and we can put our odour into that hole, and it goes down quite a way. It goes down to about that level there. So we've got quite a nice chamber inside there to put any odour that we want to put. Now we can turn this white bit there and we can change the size of the hole that the odour is going to come out of. So we can have it like that to have the most odour coming out, or we can slowly turn it around to have less and less odour coming out. I'm trying to do it the opposite way around for the video, until we can turn it off completely and we have no odour coming out at all. Now all the pods work on this principle and they are all just slightly different. So that is our first pod. Our next pod is very similar, but just of a smaller size. So it opens up. I keep turning it the wrong way because it's on a video. So it opens up like that. So that is our first one was our pod, and this is our mini pod. So it works in exactly the same way. It's just a smaller size. So it's a bit more handy to carry around. We next have what we call our handy pods. So these are similar to the other ones as well, but they're just a little bit smaller. And our opening and closing bit just works like that. So they're just a little bit smaller than those ones. So that is our handy pod. We then go on to our two pocket pods. Now we have two sizes for our pocket pod. That's our normal pocket pod and then our pocket pod maxi. So these work slightly differently in the fact they don't have this side hole anywhere, so they are completely solid all the way around, but the top bit comes off and we can put our odour in the top there. Now, put that one back on and we have two holes in the top, so the odour can come out. We can't switch these off completely, so they will always have the holes in the top. But that top lid comes off. And then we have our pocket pod, which is a smaller version, more handy, more you can put it in your pocket, you can move it around easier, and it opens in the same way, it's just a lot smaller. So they are the sizes of our pods that we have at the moment, and then we need some connecting items. So we have one base. Oh, I'm about to drop it then. We have one base made out of plastic as well, really, really robust. And then we have our connecting rods as well. To find all my things. So each pod has a threaded base on it, which means that we can attach our pods to that base. And they're really sturdy. Because that's a large base, then the dogs aren't going to just knock it over, although I've just knocked it out my hand. It's harder for the dogs to knock that over because it's a nice big base. And what we can do is screw the rods in, get a second base, and we can start to create any design that we want. So if we're working on lineups, then we can have a straight line, or we can have a zigzag line, but they connect to each other like so. So the final part that we have is our little ground spike, made out of plastic as well. So again, it's not going to rot. And what we can do is thread that into the bottom of any of our pods. So all our pods have this threaded base in there, and then we can just put that into the ground. So we, if you're working on grass and you just want to put it straight into the ground, or on a bank, then our little ground spikes can hold it nice and securely into the ground. So that is all the items that we have in our system at the moment. We will be bringing more in as we progress through. So I just want to go through and show you how all of these items can be used.